Hey, what's up? We are here in Princeton, New Jersey. Beautiful house. And we originally came here last week for a report of there was some work that happened before we got here. Mold remediation in the basement. We took a quick look at that, but there was some water in the basement under a laundry room. And it was discovered that the washing machine is leaking. So we were here to assess any water damage that happened to the subfloor or the wall behind the washing machine. And as soon as I got here, it was mentioned to me that there was water under the kitchen sink as well. So we have a containment. This is the kitchen right here. So we put a containment for multiple reasons around the leak that we kind of discovered as an active situation. In the kitchen right here, the filter drinking water faucet leaked under the cabinet, into the cabinet, under the cabinet, and then down into what we found out when we went downstairs is a few inches of spray foam, closed cell spray foam underneath this floor right here. So what happened is because there was spray from underneath this floor, the moisture did not have the freedom to evaporate down into the basement, increasing the water pressure of the water inside the wood. In addition to the fact that this floor was glued down, and it was done very well. It's a very high quality material. The adhesive used to install this floor in 2017 when this house was built, very high quality adhesive. Some water-based wood floor glues will dissolve in the presence of water because water is a universal solvent. What happened here is because the adhesive did not dissolve, the water could not even migrate into the subfloor. So we had this water entering the end grain of the wood floor around the drain and around the supply line for the filtered drinking water faucet. And the only place it could go is out. So we had this very narrow but exceptionally distant strip of wet hardwood floor, and we got readings anywhere from 40 to 90% on Saturday morning when we started work here. I stopped by yesterday on Sunday, and we were down to high teens, maybe a 20, and today all of the affected wood floor is reading between 12 and 15%. So it's dry. We don't want to over dry it because then the wood will separate and you'll get spaces where there weren't before, and we like to leave things better than we found them. So the equipment that we're using here is called Inject-A-Dry. So what it is a commercial vacuum blower in that box right there, and the suction mats on the floor. It's a powerful suction, but it's not too powerful, and what that does over a few days is it pulls moisture from wherever it can, usually the seams. In a traditionally installed nail-down wood floor, there are grooves in the underside of the wood planks to allow for things like splinters from nailing, so you don't get bulges in the floor where splinters from nailing would end up pushing the floor up. But in glued-down wood products, you really don't have that. So that airflow underneath the floor is not as easily achieved with a glued-down product. So there's a few questions you have to ask when you try to dry a glue-down wood floor. One, what type of water was it? Is it category 1 clean water, category 2 somewhat unclean or gray water, or category 3 akin to sewage? Now, category 1 water loss can turn to category 3 just with time. If you have several days of stagnant water in porous material, it can no longer be considered category 1, and a lot of times that material has to be removed. But this was a very recent loss. It just happened. The extended amount of damage away from the sink happened because the water had nowhere to go down, and then once it was in the wood, it doesn't have any way to get out without the use of specialty equipment like this. So the containment here accomplished a few different goals for us. One was to protect the rest of the home because this client is, one of our typical types of clients where they're sensitive to indoor air quality contaminants. Dust and things like that are a big problem from them, and what that dust might contain. The other thing that the containment helped us accomplish is The injected dry wood floor drying mat system is much more effective at removing some slight physical defect from the water damage in the wood floor when you have an ambient temperature of between 100 and 108 degrees. Higher than that, you run into potential damages to the finish. Lower than that, you don't get the flattening effect of a floor that did have some, and there was some cupping right here in front of the sink. So we were able to completely restore this floor in just a few days. All of the moisture which would have led to mold and bacterial issues has been removed. Any slight physical defect in the floor has been pulled out, and now the planks are laying flat. The only removal we did was underneath the cabinet to completely dry the wood floor and the cabinet deck. We removed the toe kick. So when we're done removing all the equipment right here, as we wrap up, we will actually reinstall the toe kick, so there's no repairs necessary. Downstairs below, we removed a small amount of spray foam just to verify that the subfloor wasn't wet. In addition to under the laundry room where the washing machine leak was, so two separate water intrusion events here. Both have been resolved in just a few days. We dried that one from below. This one didn't need drying from below. We verified that the subfloor did not incur any moisture damage. The subfloor under the laundry room did. There was no base trim behind the washing machine, so water had a very easy path to run over the edge of the tile and then down. But that was being dried from below, again with an air scrubber, with a dehumidifier, with a flood fan up on a scaffolding directed at the wet subfloor. Everything's all set, and we're getting ready to wrap up here. Again, we started Saturday morning. Don't normally work weekends, but our schedule is a little tight right now, and this was technically an emergency water loss, so it needed attention quicker than our normal schedule would permit. So we got our one out of maybe 5 or 6 weekends a year in here on Saturday. But that's our little pro tip, and how do you do it for today? See you guys soon.